Heartwarming 911 call, little girl's incredible bond with German Shepherd reveals hidden truths. In a quaint Midwestern town, nestled among sprawling fields of golden wheat, news was spreading like wildfire. An 8-year-old girl named Lily Anderson had gone missing, and the entire community was on high alert. The unlikely hero? Her spirited German Shepherd, Max, whose instincts drove him to bark uncontrollably outside an old shed, leading the neighbors to her rescue. Little did they know, this heartwarming story would unveil deeper truths that bound them all together. Lily was a bright-eyed dreamer, often lost in her world of imagination. The laughter she shared with Max echoed through wide-open fields, momentarily drowning out the loneliness that grew inside her. Her father was deployed overseas, leaving her single mother, Sarah, working 3 jobs to make ends meet. The cracks in their once close-knit family were beginning to show, leaving Lily a whisper away from expressing her longing for connection. As autumn crept in, painting the leaves with vibrant hues, after-school adventures took a new turn. One fateful afternoon, curiosity led Lily to that old shed, a relic of better days gone by. It was musty, filled with cobwebs and dust, but as she pulled open the door, her heart raced. Among wedding dresses, yellowed invitations, and faded photographs, she discovered pieces of her mother's past, a glimpse of delight that stirred a deep yearning in Lily's chest. Her hands trembled with excitement, but in her enthusiasm, she pushed too far and the door slammed shut, trapping her inside. Panic gripped her as darkness closed in. She called for her mother, but the only response was silence. Max, sensing something was off, took off like a shot, barking and whimpering, determined to find help. Meanwhile, the small-town community sprang into action. Sarah received a phone call that shattered her heart. Lily was trapped. Strangers became neighbors as they rushed toward the shed with worry etched on their faces. Is she okay? What if we're too late? Chatter filled the air, but so did a sense of purpose. They brought casseroles, offered comforting words, and shared financial assistance with Sarah, smashing down the walls that often divided them. As the sirens wailed closer, Lily's heart raced not only with fear but with a desperate hope that the bond she shared with her mother would reignite. Inside the shed, she tugged at the door, each effort met with frustration. The community's voices resonated outside, but all she could think about was her mom, feeling more distant than before. Then, at that moment of greatest impact, the door splintered open. Light streamed in, illuminating the worried faces of the townsfolk, but it was her mother's face that held everything for Lily, the joy of connection overshadowed by the rush of relief and fear. "Lily!" Sarah cried, and their eyes met, the love in them bridging the gap of loneliness created by hectic lives. Would they be able to mend their connection amidst this chaos? As Lily found herself wrapped in her mother's embrace, a flicker of hope ignited within her heart. The complexities of their lives threatened to tear them apart, but in this moment, they had found each other again. Would the bonds of their small-town community lead to healing, or would the challenges pull them apart once more? The delicate balance of love and resilience loomed in the air, leaving readers yearning to discover what unfolds in the next chapter of their emotional journey. With Lily safely in her mother's arms, the tension in the air began to ease. People exhaled collectively, their worry transforming into relief as Sarah held her daughter tight. The warmth of that embrace was palpable, a moment suspended in time where everything felt right again, but once the initial shock faded, it was replaced by the gnawing reality of their lives. "Oh, Lily, I was so scared," Sarah murmured, brushing the hair away from Lily's tear-streaked face. "Why did you go in there?" "I just wanted to see what was inside." "I didn't mean to get trapped," Lily whispered, her voice barely audible over the murmurs of the gathered crowd. Max rushed over then, licking Lily's hands as if to say he would always be there, a steadfast protector. His fur was matted with dirt, evidence of his frantic search, but in that moment, he was a hero. As Sarah looked around, she saw so many familiar faces, neighbors she had not spoken to in years, all united in one cause. They had come together in a way she had never anticipated, bound not just by their shared concerns for Lily but also by the weight of their own struggles and stories. It made her realize how fragmented their small town had become. "Thank you, everyone," she started, her voice shaky yet filled with gratitude. I don't even know what to say." "You don't need to say anything, Sarah. We're all here for you, no matter what," an older woman named Mabel responded, her eyes softening. So many emotions flooded through Sarah, rushing in like an unexpected tide. That day, she had felt so isolated, swamped with worry for her daughter while trying to balance her work and personal life. But now, surrounded by kindness, she began to see that they could help each other. They weren't alone in their struggles, and that was a source of strength, yet within the comfort of that community, another thought crept in: the pain of her own decisions. Every late night at work, every meal forgotten, it had pushed both her and Lily further apart. She had been so focused on survival that she had neglected the simple moments that mattered the most. A wave of guilt threatened to drown her, but Lily's small voice cut through her haze. "Mom, can we go home now?" Lily asked, her big, innocent eyes searching for reassurance. "Of course, sweetie. Let us go home," Sarah replied, her heart aching but filled with determination. As they walked back, hand in hand, the townsfolk began to disperse, chatting quietly as they returned to their daily routines. But for Sarah and Lily, it was a moment of rebirth, a second chance to connect. "Can we play with Max later?" Lily asked, the sound of her laughter bringing warmth back to Sarah's heart. "Absolutely. We'll have a whole afternoon just for us," she promised, knowing that this was more than a simple playdate. It was a vow to reconnect, to actively nurture their bond, even in the face of life's difficulties. Later that evening, as the sun set and painted the sky with hues of orange and pink, Sarah and Lily sat on their porch with Max sprawled at their feet. It was peaceful, but as she glanced at her daughter, Sarah realized there was still more to address. "Can I tell you something, Lily?" she began hesitantly. Lily looked up, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. "Yes, Mom." "What is it?" In that moment, Sarah understood they needed to talk about the struggles they faced together, the loneliness, the distance. That conversation was the first step towards healing, towards building not just a house, but a home filled with love. But as she opened her mouth to speak, a loud crash echoed from the barn down the road, interrupting their moment. Silence fell. The only sound was the hurried panting of Max, who seemed to sense something was amiss. "What was that?" Lily asked, concern painting her young face. With her heart racing anew, Sarah exchanged a knowing glance with Max. It seemed their journey was far from over, and the mystery of this small-town life was just beginning to unfold. What other secrets lay hidden beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered? Sarah's heart thudded painfully against her ribs. Fear gripped her as she contemplated the uninvited noise that shattered their fragile peace. The barn was a relic, full of family memories and collected dust, but now it felt like an ominous backdrop for something she couldn't understand. "Stay here, okay?" Sarah told Lily, forcing a calmness into her voice that she didn't feel. "I'm going to check it out." She turned toward the barn, the waning light casting long shadows across the field. Max's instincts kicked in. He stood tall, tail raised, ready to protect. Sarah knelt in front of Lily, placing a hand on her small shoulder. "I promise I'll be right back." With hesitant steps, she approached the barn. Each creak of the old wood beneath her feet echoed in her mind. What if it was just the wind? Or a fallen branch? With every breath she took, the fear morphed into a chilling uncertainty. It was eerily quiet inside. The scent of hay and rust lingered, but something felt different off. Suddenly, a muffled noise floated through the air, a frantic squeaking sound mingling with the familiar rustle of the barn. Sarah strained to listen, her heart racing as the sound intensified. "Hello?" she called, her voice steady despite the panic rising within. "Is anyone there?" A moment passed. Then she heard it again, this time more distinct, almost like crying. Without thinking more, she pushed the barn door wider and stepped inside, the dim light revealing a chaotic scene. Her breath caught in her throat at the sight. A crate had fallen over, and nestled within its splintered wood was a small, terrified kitten, no more than a few weeks old. It was struggling to free itself, mewing desperately for help. "Oh, sweetheart," Sarah murmured, instinctively moving closer. As she bent down, Max by her side, the kitten paused and looked up with wide, pleading eyes. Lily's voice called out from the doorway, tinged with concern. "Mom! What is happening?" "I have it under control, Lily. Just wait a sec." Sarah replied, her focus solely on the little creature. "Do you need my help?" Lily asked, her voice growing firm. "Yes. Can you grab the blanket from the porch? We can wrap it up." Lily nodded, and Sarah turned her attention back to the kitten, who was now mewing more fiercely, clawing at the crate's edges in a flurry of panic. With gentle hands, Sarah carefully lifted the crate back into place, then scooped up the limp kitten, cradling it against her chest. Just then, Lily darted in, breathless, clutching the blanket. "What did you find?" she asked, eyes alight with a mix of fear and excitement. "A little friend," Sarah said, revealing the trembling kitten, its tiny body shivering from both fear and the chill of the barn. "It's stuck and scared. Can you help me keep it warm?" Lily's face lit up with compassion as she wrapped the blanket snugly around the kitten. "Can we keep it, Mom?" Sarah hesitated. A flood of memories rushed through her: the responsibility, the late nights, the very real worries of juggling yet another life. But looking at Lily, who was beaming with love and hope, she felt something odd, something powerful. This was about more than just a kitten. It was about teaching her daughter compassion in a world that often felt harsh. "Okay," Sarah said, her voice steady now. "But we have to take care of it together." Lily jumped up and down, excitement vibrating through her. The two of them, united by the little creature in their hands, suddenly felt as if lifelines were being cast between them, reeling them closer. As they took tentative steps toward the exit, a soft hum of light fluttered in the growing dusk, illuminating their path. Sarah's heart swelled. However, another sound emerged from the barn: an unsettling crumbling, an unseen threat lurking behind the walls. "Mom!" Lily gasped, glancing back. "What else is in there?" A realization settled over Sarah as she exchanged worried looks with Max. They were facing what felt like a pivotal moment, one that could reveal not just hidden truths about the barn, but perhaps about themselves, too. What else awaited them in the shadowy corners of their past? And what truths still lay hidden beneath the surface of their lives? The air hung heavy around them as the barn creaked in age-old groans, tension crackling like electricity. Max stood motionless, his body low to the ground, sensing something that Sarah and Lily couldn't yet understand. The kitten nestled against Sarah's chest, soothed by the familiar warmth, but the comforting weight was instantly overshadowed by the uneasy feeling crawling up Sarah's spine. "What do you think it is?" Lily's voice quivered slightly, and Sarah shot her a reassuring smile, though inside she felt anything but calm. "I don't know, sweetheart. Let's just be careful." Stepping back, they paused, both on the threshold, as if the barn were a portal to another world. The shadows danced ominously, and Sarah's thoughts raced. What could be hidden in the corners of this barn, darkened by unresolved memories and secrets long buried? Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from within. The sound jolted them. "Stay close to me," Sarah instructed, clutching Lily's hand more tightly. She peered into the darkness, the calm facade slipping. Flashbacks of her childhood rushed in, playing hide and seek, making up stories about the barn's creaky old beams. Moments she loved now felt washed away by fear. "Max, go!" she commanded, wanting to break the tension buzzing in the air. Obediently, he darted inside, nose sniffing, ears perked. "Max!" Lily called out, her little fingers digging into Sarah's arm. "It's okay. He's just checking it out." But even as she said the words, doubt filled her heart. Moments dragged by, swallowed by silence, then just as it seemed quiet again, Max's low growl shuddered through the barn. "Mom." Lily's voice barely registered above a whisper. And then, the cries returned. They weren't just of the kitten anymore, deeper, more guttural sounds echoed, distorted and tinged with desperation. Sarah's resolution faltered. "Lily, wait here just for a second." Swallowing hard, she stepped inside, clinging to the hope that they could handle whatever lay ahead. Max advanced cautiously, and a flicker of movement caught Sarah's eye. As she followed, heart pounding, she stumbled upon the remnants of another fallen crate. Splintered wood lay scattered, revealing a few more tiny mews. Her breath hitched. "Oh no," she whispered. Within the debris, another kitten writhed, this one even more scared. But before she could act, a voice low, gravelly, possessing an unsettling familiarity emerged from the shadows. "Leave them be." The words didn't register at first. Sarah squinted, stepping closer, heart thrumming in confusion. A figure appeared out of the dark, a man she recognized from her past, the one who once lived down the road, a distant memory of whispered tales and old fears. "Mr. Hargrove?" Sarah's voice trembled. "What are you doing here?" She faltered, disbelief and trepidation mixing within her. "I knew someone would come," he said, his eyes pinched with pain and something else. "I didn't mean for it to be like this." "Like what?" Lily's frightened gaze darted between her mother and the stranger. The man took a step forward, shadows playing tricks with his features, but Sarah saw the unease flicker in his expression. "Help them, please. They didn't ask to be born here." Fear threatened to squeeze Sarah's chest again, but a swell of compassion surged. Rescuing these kittens felt greater than herself, like a knife carving through old wounds. "What do you mean?" She pressed, more firmly this time. It was then Sarah realized they'd opened a door, not just to save helpless lives but perhaps to confront her own buried truths shaping the future she envisioned for Lily. As silence wrapped around them, Sarah's heart raced not just in fear but anticipation too. What secrets had kept Mr. Hargrove shackled in this old barn, and what would it mean for their lives? No turning back now, she thought, emboldened by love and the prospect of change. "Mom, what is going on?" Lily's voice quivered, concern knitting her brow. With the kitten still trembling in her hold, Sarah knew the truth was about to emerge. Would it bind them closer, or tear them apart? And as she looked into Mr. Hargrove's pleading eyes, a deeper question loomed: what sacrifices were they all willing to make for a second chance? Sarah's heart raced as Mr. Hargrove's eyes bore into hers, a plea for understanding swirling in their depths. The air felt stifling, thick with tension and the weight of unsaid words. She shifted, still clutching the tiny life in her arms, the mewing echoing like a reminder of the inexplicable bond that connected them all. "Help them?" she replied, her voice trembling. "Why are you hiding in here with them?" Lily squeezed her hand tighter, her little fingers sending a jolt of warmth through Sarah. "Mom, I don't like this man," she whispered boldly. "Can we go?" But Sarah couldn't move. There was something in Mr. Hargrove's tone, a resonance that felt oddly familiar, a touch of desperation, perhaps even vulnerability. It drew her in like a moth to a flame. "They were abandoned," he finally said, his voice cracking. "Just like I was. Left to fend for themselves. They deserve better." Echoes of his words danced through her mind. Abandonment. Loneliness. The very themes that had shaped Sarah's own childhood. A rush of empathy washed over her, filled with memories of loneliness, the feeling of being overlooked and the desperate hope for connection. And here stood Mr. Hargrove, his presence wrapping around those childhood wounds, threatening to tear them open. "And that's why you're here?" she asked softly, feeling the weight of the moment shift. "To protect them?" He nodded, a small spark of gratitude flickering in his eyes. I can't let them end up like I did, pushed aside and forgotten. Max stood still, firmly at Sarah's heels, sensing her conflicted emotions. The barn creaked around them, a witness to the turmoil unfolding inside her. Why not just let them go? Lily's voice broke through the tension. We can take care of them. A flicker of hope jumped in Sarah's chest. But reality crashed back swiftly. Would they really be able to handle more than they already had? Lily, honey, Sarah started, but her daughter's innocent gaze stayed steady, urging her forward. Mom, we have a home and love. We can help them. Please. The words tumbled from Lily in a rush, her heart wide open. Mr. Hargrove's expression softened, and something shifted in the space between them. They need a chance, Sarah. Just like you did. Sarah felt the sting of tears prick her eyes. The thought of all those years spent in struggle, the relentless pursuit for solace, ignited a fire deep inside her. I'll help, she found herself saying, her voice firmer now, underscored by a resolve that felt foreign yet exhilarating. We will help. Joy and fear battled within her chest. But as she turned to look at Lily, a small smile peeking through her daughter's worry, that fear slowly transformed into something warmer, a feeling like hope. Mr. Hargrove watched her, relief washing over his face. You won't regret it. I can show you how, but it will take commitment. There's more to this than just feeding them. What do you mean? Sarah asked, her curiosity piqued but tinged with unease. Once you start caring, there are ties created. It means opening your heart, allowing vulnerability in again. The thought sent shivers down her spine. Yet, it was a call to action she knew she could not refuse. Perhaps this was the moment where everything could change, where mouthfuls of love could drown out the past. Then let us do it, she said, her heartbeat steadying in rhythm with determination. As the words hung in the air, the barn seemed to inhale deeply, as if it, too, recognized the potential of what lay ahead. But as they prepared to delve deeper into the shadows of their intertwined fates, Sarah couldn't shake the growing realization that their actions could mean unearthing even darker truths, ones not just connected to the kittens, but to herself and Mr. Hargrove. In that dim light, a flicker of fear began to curl its fingers around her heart, whispering, what if the past is too heavy to bear? With each passing moment at the barn, a choice lay ahead, to embrace whatever lay hidden or retreat back into safety. The path was unclear, but one thing was certain: something transformative was about to unfold. What? Revelations would come from their newfound mission? Would they uncover the buried truths that haunted Mr. Hargrove, or would those very truths threaten to unravel the fragile bond that had just begun to form? Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. She glanced at Lily, whose wide eyes were sparkling with eagerness. The barn felt alive around them, the earthy sense of hay and wood mingling with the thrill of possibility. Mr. Hargrove gestured toward a battered cardboard box in the corner, and Sarah's eyes followed. Inside, 5 tiny kittens huddled together, their eyes barely open, the pink of their noses twitching. They looked vulnerable, a delicate array of fur and tiny mews that seemed to echo the plea for love and care. Do you see how helpless they are? Mr. Hargrove's voice brought her focus back to him. Every day out there could mean tragedy. They need nurturing. He swallowed hard, as if the words were difficult to say. As he spoke, Sarah felt a familiar ache, remembering moments in her own childhood when vulnerability had felt suffocating. It was as if Mr. Hargrove was reaching into her past, stirring emotions she thought she had buried. What can I do? She could read his need, and it ignited a spark deep in her heart. You can give them a home, he replied, leaning closer, hope dancing in his expression. You can show them they are loved. The notion rolled around in Sarah's mind, mixing with fear and excitement. Love was something she had worked hard to cultivate in her own life, and it was tempting to expand that love beyond just her little family. But what if I'm not enough? She said, her voice barely above a whisper. Trust me. You'll learn as you go. It's about creating a safe space, showing them they matter. Just like you matter. His words poked at her insecurities, the lingering doubts that often whispered in her ear. Lily pulled on her mother's hand, tugging her closer to the box. Mom! Look at how cute they are. Her enthusiasm was contagious, and Sarah couldn't help but smile. The kittens began to squirm, their tiny voices raising as though in chorus, resonating with her daughter's excitement. Unconsciously, Sarah found herself kneeling beside Lily, their heads close together as they inspected this small family. What if we name them? Lily asked, her voice bubbling with joy. We can call one Hope, and one Joy. And look at that spotted one. He needs a brave name. A soft laughter bubbled up from Sarah's lips, and she felt warmth spreading in her chest. It was the first sign that perhaps this could work. Brave is good, Lily. How about we let them inspire us? As they named the kittens together, the atmosphere changed. It was as if a thread of connection began to weave between Sarah, Lily, and Mr. Hargrove, each name representing a promise of care and commitment. Every laugh over a silly name or every conversation about who would take the first feeding shift made the world inside this barn brighter. Yet, as the laughter faded into thoughtful silence, Sarah's gaze turned to Mr. Hargrove. But what do we do if something happens? The unease crept back in. What if we can't handle it? His eyes narrowed slightly, holding hers with intensity. Then we lean on each other. This isn't just about fostering kittens. It's a chance to foster understanding, connection, to mend our own hearts too. A shadow flickered in the corner of Sarah's mind. What if these kittens weren't the only ones needing a home? What unseen scars might lie beneath the surface for all three of them? She swallowed the lump forming in her throat, the potential for pain staking root in her chest. Then we really can't turn back, she murmured, feeling the weight of the choice weigh heavier now than it had a moment before. As she smoothed her hands over the tiny fur, a sense of purpose ignited deep within. There was wisdom in Mr. Hargrove's words, a call to delve into the unknown for the sake of love and connection, but that lingering question gnawed at her thoughts. What if the past, rife with pain, uncovered itself in their journey? With scratches of fear dancing alongside a growing resolve, she realized the commitment they were making wasn't just to the kittens, it was to each other. The air seemed to hum with unvoiced truths, and as Sarah stole another glance at Mr. Hargrove, she felt a ripple of uncertainty. What hidden stories waited to unravel as they took this leap? Would their hearts bear the burdens of the new life they were stepping into, or would they find a way to heal together in loving these little souls? The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue across the barn. Sarah, still kneeling by the box of kittens, felt a rush of emotion swell within her. She glanced at Lily, whose face was now beaming with excitement as she tried to get a glimpse of each little new life. Look at them, Mom. I think this is the best day ever. Lily clapped her hands, her laughter echoing in the barn. Mr. Hargrove watched them, a gentle smile on his face. Yet Sarah noticed a flicker of something else in his eyes, perhaps the same mix of joy and fear she was feeling. A bond was growing, not just in their family but also with this quiet man who had opened his heart, despite the weight of his own past. Should we take them home today? Lily asked, her eyes glimmering with hope. Whoa there, Mr. Hargrove interjected, his tone playful yet firm. We need to prepare first. Just like any big leap, we need to make sure we're ready. Ready for what? Lily's voice had dipped into a curious whisper, intrigued by Mr. Hargrove's words. To care for them, to love them fiercely, and yes, even to face the tough times that might come, he replied, his gaze drifting to the kittens. They will need food, a safe place to sleep, and, most importantly, your love. At that moment, Sarah caught a glimpse of her own journey unfolding. The commitment she had hinted at with her daughter was a two-way street. As she started to embrace the kittens' need for nurturing, she understood her own heart was seeking the same. What if we made a list? Sarah suggested, her voice wavering but gaining confidence. A list of what we need to do to make sure they're taken care of properly. Yeah. I can help. Lily jumped with joy. Good idea, Sarah, Mr. Hargrove replied, his genuine praise lighting up her nervousness. A solid plan can ease worries. But remember, sometimes love is messy. It's okay to embrace the chaos. Chaos. The word echoed in Sarah's mind. It reminded her of all the times life had spiraled out of her control before. Yet here they were, crafting a new narrative. She could feel the doubts fluttering in her chest like restless birds. If we make this commitment and it gets too hard, what then? That's when you lean on each other. That's when you grow. Mr. Hargrove's eyes held hers firmly, as if sharing a secret. You then find strength within the love you create. Lily bounced with renewed energy, brainstorming their list. Cat food. Litter box. Toys. Oh, and a bed. Can we get them a big, fluffy bed? Absolutely, Sarah replied, warmth spreading through her. The innocence of her child's joy ignited a spark of hope in her depths. Could they truly navigate love and chaos together? As laughter filled the barn once again, Sarah felt a strange sense of belonging begin to seep into her bones. The unfilled spaces of her heart seemed to find refuge in the embrace of these tiny creatures and the unexpected companionship developing with Mr. Hargrove, but amid this newfound joy, a nagging thought lingered. Would opening her heart truly lead to healing, or might it deepen the scars? Just as she swept her gaze back to the kittens, a sudden noise interrupted their bliss, a loud crash outside the barn. Startled, they all turned toward the sound. It felt like an abrupt shift, and Sarah's heart raced again. What was that? Lily squeaked, her hand slipping into her mother's. The atmosphere thickened, and Sarah felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down around them. What truths would surface, and how would they face them? An adventure awaited, wrapping them in unknown possibilities. Would they stand strong together, or would this be the jolt that sent their fragile new reality spiraling? The barn fell silent, a thick tension hanging in the air. Sarah's heart pounded loudly, drowning out Lily's nervous whispers. Mr. Hargrove moved first, his instincts overriding his calm demeanor as he stepped toward the barn door. Stay here, he instructed, his voice steady yet firm, as he waved them back. He stepped outside, his silhouette framed against the fading light. A shiver ran down Sarah's spine. She turned to Lily, who blinked up at her, eyes wide with concern. What if it's something scary, Mom? Lily's voice trembled just a little, and Sarah knelt down, wrapping her arms around her daughter. Whatever it is, we'll handle it together, Sarah promised, squeezing Lily tight. She could feel the warmth beneath the comfort of her words, but doubt began to creep in. They had barely begun to build something precious, something fragile. Would this moment shatter it? Suddenly, a rumble echoed from outside. Moments later, Mr. Hargrove returned, his face pale and serious. It's just a fallen tree branch, but you won't believe who has come to visit, he said, drawing their attention to something behind him. Sarah's heart skipped a beat as she caught sight of a large, black and tan German shepherd weaving around the barn entrance. It stood majestically, a guard dog's poise in its posture. Is that? Lily gasped, stepping forward, enthralled by the dog's presence. Looks like we have an uninvited guest, Mr. Hargrove said, a hint of relieved laughter breaking through the tension. Can we keep him? Lily chimed, her face illuminated with wonder. Hold on there, buddy, Mr. Hargrove chuckled, kneeling down, gesturing for the dog to come closer. The shepherd hesitated, then slowly approached, sniffing the air, curious yet cautious. He's got a collar, Mr. Hargrove announced, squinting as he ran his fingers along the leather strap on the dog's neck. Looks like he belongs to someone nearby. But it's so dark. What if they are looking for him? Sarah said, her motherly instinct kicking in. She didn't want to let this new bond slip away, just as she began to feel the warmth of family. The dog nudged Lily, who giggled in delight. "Can we help him find his home?" she asked, her voice swirling with excitement. "I think we should," Mr. Hargrove agreed, standing tall and confident. "But first, we need to make sure he is fed and comfortable. Let us add some items for our new friend to the list." They walked inside, the initial shock fading as the dog cautiously followed. Lily and Mr. Hargrove brainstormed more items for their growing list while Sarah, feeling lighter, watched the interactions unfold. Their laughter wove around the barn like a warm blanket, a contrast to the sudden chill of the unknown still lingering outside, yet, as the dog settled in the corner, resting its head on Lily's lap, an unsettling thought gripped Sarah. Was this newfound joy a distraction from something deeper? Could this charming creature somehow be a way to uncover hidden truths that needed to be faced, truths she had buried under the weight of everyday life? Just then, the phone rang loudly, slicing through the moments of peace. Sarah's heart sank. Who could it be? A cacophony of emotions roared inside her. With tentative hands, she picked up the receiver. "Hello?" she answered, her voice steady yet anxious. "Sarah?" "It's Carla," the voice on the other end said, familiar yet filled with urgency. "I need to talk to you about something important." The barn, the kittens, and the charming shepherd faded away, replaced by the weight of a conversation that could unravel everything she'd just begun to piece together. What secrets were lurking in her past that this conversation might unearth? Lily looked at her, sensing the shift. "Mom? What's wrong?" In that moment, Sarah realized she stood at a monumental crossroads. Which path would she choose, and how would it change the tapestry of their lives? As uncertainty tangled with hope, she braced for the truth waiting just beyond the call's whisper. The crackling silence stretched out, thick with anticipation. Sarah felt the weight of Carla's voice pressing on her chest, a storm of memories threatening to break through the carefully constructed facade of her life. "Carla, what's going on?" she asked, desperation creeping into her tone. The barn felt smaller suddenly, the soft light brushing Lily and the dog with a momentary glow, while Sarah stood on the edge of shadows and light. "It's about your father," Carla said, and Sarah's breath caught. Even saying the words felt like breaking an old promise, digging up memories she's tried to bury. "What about him?" Her voice shook, uncertainty flooding her as the memories rushed in like a tide, pulling her under. There was a pause, almost an eternity. "There are things you don't know, secrets he never shared. I think it's time you heard the truth." At that moment, the world around her faded away. Her heart raced, thoughts crashing like waves against the shore. The connections, the threads of her past, began to unravel in her mind. What truth could possibly float to the surface now, and would it change everything she had built for Lily? "Mom?" Lily's soft voice pulled her back, and Sarah turned to see her daughter, eyes wide with innocence, holding the shepherd's head in her lap. They looked like a picture from a storybook, two souls unknowingly traversing the fragile landscape of family and love. "I'll be okay, sweetheart," she managed to say, even as doubt hung in the air. "Sarah," Carla pressed, urgency sharp in her tone. "You need to listen. Your father knew about this dog, they were connected somehow. It might lead you to answers you never knew you were seeking." As the words sank in, a thrill of fear and curiosity struck Sarah. Could this dog be a link to her father? Or perhaps to an even deeper mystery within her own life? Questions filled her mind. Who was this loyal creature, and how could it hold secrets? "Where do we start?" Sarah asked, her voice steadier now. For the first time, it didn't feel like the past was weighing her down, rather, it felt like an opportunity to finally confront the shadows. "I'll help you," Carla said, "but you have to trust me. Meet me at the old farmhouse tomorrow. I'll have everything." The line went dead, leaving Sarah holding the phone in a trembling hand. "Mom? Could we keep the dog?" Lily's hopeful inquiry sliced through the chaos in Sarah's mind. Sarah knelt down, brushing Lily's hair gently away from her face. We'll see, my love. But first, we need to figure out where he belongs. Lily turned back to the dog, her face lit with determination. Let us go find his family then. If he's lost, we can help him feel at home with us. Tears prickled at Sarah's eyes as she watched her daughter's fierce spirit. There was strength in Lily, a fire that nudged Sarah towards hope. But as the dog lay quietly, a universe of stories captured behind its deep brown eyes, Sarah couldn't help but wonder what dangers lurked in the memories she was about to unearth. The night was still, but uncertainty buzzed through the air like a swarm of fireflies. Would tomorrow's search reveal the answers she longed for, or would it uncover deeper scars hidden just beneath the surface? The barn creaked softly around them, shadows dancing as they stood on the precipice of discovery, clinging to the warmth of camaraderie while daring to step into the darkness. Whatever awaited them, Sarah felt pulses of courage as she tightened her hold on Lily's small hand. Together, they would meet the dawn head-on. Are you ready, Mom? Lily's voice broke through the weight of it all, grounding Sarah in the moment. With a determined nod, Sarah whispered, Yes, my brave girl. Let us do this. But deep down, the question lingered like a whisper: what truths were waiting to be revealed, and could they handle it together? The dawn arrived gently, a soft glow spilling over the horizon, casting a golden hue across the barn. Sarah stood at the threshold, her heart fluttering with anticipation and uncertainty. Beside her, Lily absorbed the beauty of the morning, blissfully unaware of the gravity of the day ahead. They had decided to search for the dog's family but found themselves filled with myriad emotions: hope, anxiety, and an eagerness to confront the unknown. Can we take Max with us? Lily beamed, her eyes sparkling with excitement as the German shepherd sniffed curiously at the grass. The bond developing between them ignited a warmth in Sarah's heart. Absolutely, sweetheart. The more, the merrier, she said, ruffling Max's fur affectionately. They prepared, gathering supplies, water, a few treats, and an old collar Sarah found. The three of them, an unlikely little crew, set off into the morning light. As they ventured into town, it felt as if the air was filled with possibilities. What if we find his family right away? Lily exclaimed, skipping a few steps ahead. Or maybe they've been looking for him everywhere. A smile broke over Sarah's face. Lily's enthusiasm was infectious. Anything is possible, right, Max? She called. The dog wagged its tail, as if understanding the mission, ready to lead them wherever the scent of adventure might take them. Soon they reached the main street, where the bakery aroma wafted through the air. It had always been a comforting presence in their life. As they passed the entrance, Sarah caught sight of Carla, who was kneading dough, and glanced up, her face lighting up with recognition. Hi, Sarah. I heard about your little adventure yesterday. I can't imagine how scary that must have been. Carla's genuine warmth brought a smile to Sarah's heart. Thanks, Carla. It's been a wild ride, but we're okay, Sarah replied. We're actually trying to find this dog's family today. Carla's eyes lit up. Let me know if I can help. I can spread the word. They thanked her and continued walking, absorbing the sights and sounds of the town waking from its slumber. Max seemed to take the lead, sniffing along the hedges and stopping occasionally, as if lost in thought. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out. Lily. Sarah. It was Mabel, the elderly neighbor who had shared countless moments over her porch, baking treats together. Mabel. We're looking for Max's family. Lily shouted, pointing eagerly at the dog. Mabel knelt down, her face breaking into a gentle smile as she scratched Max's ears. Oh, he's lovely. I might know someone who lost a dog like him last week. Come here, dear. Lily's eyes widened with hope. Do you think they'll want him back? Mabel nodded thoughtfully. Let us find out. They hurried toward the nearby park where Mabel had seen the family last. The park exuded joy, children played on swings, families laughed together, and the sun made everything shimmer. Upon arriving, Mabel looked around, her eyes scanning the crowd. There! That little girl, she's got the same collar. Sure enough, a young girl sat on the grass, teary-eyed, clutching her knees to her chest. Just beside her stood a worried couple, casting glances around, desperation etched in their expressions. Max! Oh my goodness, is that you? The little girl's voice, filled with both astonishment and relief, rang out. As Max bounded toward her, joy transformed the girl's face. I've been looking everywhere. Thank you. Thank you. Tears welling in Sarah's eyes reflected both sadness and happiness as she watched the reunion unfold. She felt a bittersweet ache. Their dogs were perfect together, but they would soon part again. With Max joyfully reunited, Sarah knelt next to Lily, casting a glance toward Mabel, whose wise presence emanated comfort. Today turned out beautifully, Sarah said, feeling light, free of weight that had clung to her all along. Yes. I knew it. Together we found him. Lily squealed, bouncing on her toes. The community bond they had experienced the day before now solidified into something tangible in their hearts, a gratitude that transcended individual struggles. The girl invited them to join her family for cookies, urging them to celebrate the reunion. For a moment, Sarah's heart swelled. Life was unfolding anew, filled with untold possibilities, healing connections, and vibrant warmth. As laughter echoed in the background, she thought of Mr. Hargrove, not just a neighbor, but a pillar of shared experience. And the burdens of her past? Perhaps they could be woven into a new tapestry of hope through love, compassion, and the willingness to be vulnerable. Want to bake cookies, Mom? Lily asked brightly, her eyes sparkling. Absolutely, Sarah replied, their bond stronger than it had ever been. As they waved goodbye to the family and turned to head home, Max trotted alongside them, a steadfast guardian. Mom, it feels like today is the beginning of something wonderful, Lily said, the excitement dancing in her voice. And as Sarah walked, the sun beaming down upon them, she felt the weight of yesterday's begin to lift, the promise of new beginnings glowing brighter than ever. They would not only heal with the love between them, but extend that love to the world around them. It was time to embrace it all, the messy, chaotic, beautiful journey of life. Now was the moment to share this light, this hope, with others. She turned to Lily, a radiant smile stretching across her face. This is just the beginning, sweetheart. We're in this together. And with resolve ignited in their hearts, they strode home, ready to embrace whatever adventure came next. Now is your moment. You need to subscribe now and join our family as we venture into more heartwarming stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us spread the love. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending, it matters to us. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Your support means everything.